covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
1 week later, the shoe fire is still actively burning in Shasta County, and now firefighters have their work cut out for them even more with a new red flag warning approaching. Plus, new at 6, another stabbing attack at a transitional housing motel in Redding, what we know so far. Also new at 6, how voters can find peace of mind that their vote will be counted after dropping off their ballots. But first, new at 6, an Oroville man was sentenced today to 6 years in prison for arson.
Joseph Gilbert Jr. was convicted of intentionally lighting a field on fire near a Palermo mobile home park on Lincoln Boulevard in July. Prosecutors say home surveillance video led to Gilbert's arrest. He was previously convicted of 5 felonies, including second-degree burglary.
Well, our community is preparing for a looming PG&E power shutoff set to take place tomorrow for Glenn and Tehama counties, as well as Shasta County. And Action News Now reporter Lauren Cooper is live and just came from Los Molinos. So, Lauren, are people ready?
Yeah, Alan, some people are. They're all ready to go and have their generators at their side, but there are a few people who were not aware that there could be a possible shut-off starting tomorrow, impacting places like Los Molinos from 9:30 a.m. to noon due to strong winds and increased fire risks. But some people are more than prepared, like business owner Bob Sheedle, who tells me if he lost power, he risks losing $30,000 in meat products that needs to stay frozen.
3 years ago when we had that big power outage, we rented one and they wanted $1,000 a day. And you had to keep it on hand because we had the big power outage and it was supposed to be another one following it in 5 days. And some of the people that were trying to find a generator, you couldn't. There were none available.
I asked Sheedle what he thought about PG&E's decision to turn off power in the risk of wildfire and high winds. He told me it makes sense for areas in the mountains, but he's not too concerned about his own area. He tells me that he's not really thinking there will be too many impacts in Los Molinos. Another point that he wanted to add on was that the mountain directly behind Los Molinos was very much impacted by the park fire, so he thinks all of the fuel that would entertain a fire is already burned up. I'm Lauren Cooper reporting live in Butte County, Action News Now.
Thanks, Lauren. Now, about 28,000 customers in California could be losing power this week. In Butte County, the shutoff is scheduled to begin Friday.
A college campus scare. The College of Siskiyous and Weed went on lockdown after reports about a man with a gun along the Bear Trail today. This happened just after noon. Officers with the City of Weed, City of Mount Shasta, and Siskiyou County Sheriff's Department conducted a safety sweep, and they didn't find anybody. They deemed the report unfounded. The lockdown was lifted just before 1 p.m.
Now, a live look over Shasta County. You see those clouds there, really right over Mount Shasta. It's covered right there, but that's the direction we're looking.
Yeah, pretty shot out there. And Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon is tracking. Started off as a pretty wet and rainy morning today, Howie, but it seems to have cleared up a bit.
Yeah, for the most part, those storms are moving out of the area. A few showers still taking place up in the mountains. But again, what we saw today is not going to change one iota of our fire weather. It is still alive and well until we get, quote unquote, some real rain totals or a nice soaking to the area. You saw the higher elevations from with a ½ inch to an inch of rain, but anything down out of the ridge, for the most part, those totals were almost non-existent. But here's the storms. Again, they're moving away and they're in the highest of our elevations. Low-lying areas not seeing much of anything. Moisture levels on the high side, but that's all going to change. Winds on the light side because tomorrow winds are going to amp up. Those moisture levels are going down. We're looking at red flag warnings.
All right. Thanks, Howie.
Well, although the park fire is fully contained, there is some concern about today's rainfall sweeping sediment into Big Chico Creek. The Butte County Resource Conservation District and the Big Chico Creek Ecological Reserve are working to protect Big Chico Creek from sediment and erosion in the burn scar. Experts say after a fire burns an area, it's easier for soil to get carried into the waterway.
There's such a big burned area, we definitely will see sediment flowing into the creek. The creek will look brown for a lot of the winter.
She says that the park fire left a lot of soil exposed along Big Chico Creek Canyon. Crews are focusing on higher elevations to put ground cover on the soil to hold it into place. They're installing process-based restoration structures like hybrid logs and rocks to hold back any sediment from going into the creek.
New details in the case of the teens accused of carrying out a mass shooting in Redding. They both pled not guilty. Deputies say Trevon Evanoff and Andrew Greer Herrera were involved in a mass shooting that hurt a total of 5 people. Actually, 3 people were injured, 2 were killed. That was on October 4th. Both are being held without bail. They'll be back in court October 29th.
New details in the mass stabbing in Redding. The suspect, Christopher Witcher, pled not guilty to all charges. We were on the scene last Tuesday when police say he stabbed and killed 57-year-old Donna Ceremony near the Market Street Manor Motel. They say he also stabbed 3 others who survived. Officers say he was staying at the motel as part of a transitional program. Witcher faces murder and attempted murder charges, and he'll be back in court October 29th.
Following another transitional housing stabbing in Redding. That happened today. It was at the Deluxe Inn on Market Street. That's a 4-minute drive from the Manor Motel where the other stabbing took place a week ago. New at 6, Action News Now reporter Jesse Angelo is looking into where that investigation stands now.
Here's what we know right now. At just after 2:30 this morning, Redding police received multiple calls about a stabbing taking place at the Deluxe Inn here on Market Street in downtown Redding. When they arrived, they found a victim in the parking lot with multiple stab wounds to his torso. That victim was transported by ambulance to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. They also found their suspect, Timothy Flanagan, who had been staying at the motel for about 2 weeks. The motel serves as a transitional housing facility. Now, when I spoke to staff at the motel, they told me that no stabbing had occurred here, but police, their report begs to differ, saying that they not only found the victim, but they also found the knife on the scene. And their investigation, during their investigation, they found out that Flanagan was on this sex offenders registry and that the victim was his roommate. This case is still under police investigation, but I'm still digging to find out more information. In Redding, Jesse Angelo, Action News Now.
Flanagan faces charges for assault with a deadly weapon.
New at 6, the state is making alternative types of drug abuse treatment more accessible. Governor Gavin Newsom says today marks the first time Medi-Cal will cover traditional healthcare practices that are deeply rooted in cultural practices. This includes music therapy, herbal remedies, and traditional healers. Newsom says these treatments have been shown to improve health, especially for those dealing with drug and alcohol problems.
Well, we are 1 week into the shoe fire burning in Shasta County, and Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon is tracking the latest on fire conditions.
Plus, a way for local firefighters to battle a health threat before it's too late. We show you how this state-of-the-art testing works.